What is going on, guys? We are in the middle of our Thanksgiving Day. We are going to be on the second showdown here between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. So, this slate features Andy Dalton and Alex Smith. So, what can go wrong, right? Let's get into the slate. If you have not hit that subscribe button, do that below, please, and hit the like button. If you are looking for college basketball content coming up, we are offering it for absolutely free in our. We are having a college basketball free Discord channel that we will have some core plays posted there for slate. So make sure you get over to our site and just sign up for an account and get a free access into our Discord channel, and that will get you where you need to be. So if you are a current member in our Discord channel, make sure you I think you still go to the price page and just pay $0 for that content. But let's get into this one. Let's get to the odds first here. It's basically a deadlock. Cowboys -3. Cowboys beat the Vikings this last week, my team. That was really disappointing. But the return of Andy Dalton definitely had an impact, I think, on them. And I still don't think the loss is acceptable as a Minnesota fan. But let's get into this slate. Scary Terry, the most expensive player on the slate at 11,000. Now, Scary Terry, Zeke Elliott, and Gibson. Obviously, Elliott is sorry. I'll take Elliott out of this conversation right now, but McLaren and Gibson have been phenomenal for this team that was kind of poised to do nothing, right? So you go to Scary Terry here. Terry McLaren, I think is how you say his name. Okay, so 13.4, 18.2, 27, 22, 14. Like the guy's a monster, right? It's like consistent. Like he is getting the targets 7, 9, 8, 11. You can't argue against that at all. So is he a great play? Absolutely. Is he worth 11,000? Yeah, I don't know. Like I would, usually you're paying that kind of price for a really good quarterback or like Alvin Kamara, Delvin Cook. But it's a phenomenal matchup, right? Dallas's pass defense is terrible. So I think he is definitely somebody that you try to get in your lineups. Ezekiel Elliott, on the other hand, I'm a little bit concerned about, right? The last game was the first game that against the Vikings was the first game all season he went over 100 yards. Now I get the return of Dalton, makes them better, but still not great. So it's not a good matchup on the ground for him. And, since the absence of Dak, so Dak got injured in that New York Giants game week 5. Okay, so let's just take the rest of that game out of the picture. He had the game against Arizona where he had 8 catches, which is definitely, in my opinion, pretty outlier because, that's not really, he catches the ball well out of the backfield, but 8 catches, that's ridiculous. This is more of the median outcome that we've gotten out of him. Now, some of these games off, I don't know, whoever was starting at quarterback. So I think we find him more somewhere. Still, he might hit double digits, but I don't see the 20-plus point game unless he gets a couple short rushing touchdowns. Yes, he's still their best, probably physical player out on the field, but I would rather pay 400 more for Terry McLaren. So Gibson as well. Antonio Gibson has been phenomenal, a rookie. Obviously, a lot of people talked about him in season-long leagues, pre-draft. 17.4, 22.5. He's getting the touchdowns. Look at that touchdown, touchdown, and he catches the ball through the air. And there's also another running back for Washington we know that does catch the ball as well. So this is why this slate is so different to me, right? You're usually like the quarterbacks are the top two out of 4 of the top most expensive players. So we have Alex Smith and Andy Dalton at 9,800, 9,600. I think they're too cheap, but I don't know if you play both of them, you're not going to get Gibson and McLaren. You're going to get McLaren and probably not Gibson. So I definitely think you can make a case for Gibson over either of the quarterbacks too. So that's what makes this slate kind of interesting. Like when there's sub 10K quarterbacks, then obviously they're not the Aaron Rodgers and the Cam Newton, the Lamar Jacksons of the world. They're not the quarterbacks we have in the first or the last game either. So I think that's where this slate will be really decided. And then you go down at receiver here for Dallas. CeeDee Lamb, 9,200, had one of the best catches all season. In the last game, him and Thielen also had one of the best catches. Right? Give me Amari Cooper for 1,200 less. I don't know. That's just me. I prefer Cooper there for 8,000 instead of CeeDee Lamb for 9,200. And then you have McKissick at 7,000, who half the world didn't even know who he was, besides he was a backup for Seattle forever. He can catch the ball. They're throwing him the ball to the backfield all the time. Look at 15 targets, 14 targets. Now, those are really more game flow dependent. So here we saw where Washington had more of a lead. Then now he probably isn't paying off that price tag, but he still had 43 yards on the ground, caught 3 balls, 26 yards, even, oh no, he didn't lose the fumble, but, McKissick at 7,000, I think is viable too. I don't know price-wise if I'm going to land in that spot, but I do think if you need McKissick over Cooper, I think that's fine too. So, yeah, that's kind of like I think Alex Smith and Andy Dalton are cash viable, and I think they'll be popular in cash because they're sub 10K. But I do think that there's a lot of other decent options around him. I am probably not playing Ezekiel Elliott, but that mindset could change come Thursday. But going down here a little bit further, we have Dalton Schultz, the starting tight end here for Dallas. Decent value. Again, I don't know why. For me, I just kind of anti tight end unless it's George Kittle or I don't know some smash matchup. But usually I don't know. We don't even Gronk. I was about. But let's get down here a little bit further. Logan Thomas. Talk about hit or miss. Viable for 5,400. Probably, if he scores a touchdown, he outscores the kickers. If not, I like kickers and Pollard better, probably. Pollard with the long touchdown run last game. He's definitely gonna get. He's spelling. I was actually hoping he'd be cheaper, be below the defenses, but we are not getting that. So 4,400. He's okay. Cam Sims here for Washington is okay as well, but I do think the return of Steven, I can't think of his last name. Steven Sims Jr. too. Yeah, there you go. I think the return of him is definitely going to hurt Cam Sims and right down here for Washington. And that's why Sims is one of my favorite values actually on this slate. Because I do think they want to get him involved. Steven Sims Jr., 2,800, great play. Both kickers, Greg the leg is questionable. Hopkins is questionable. Oh, yeah, let's just add the kickers into the injury report. So both of them, if they're in, obviously, are definitely great plays for kickers. So let's go 3, 2, 1 here. So I'm going to put myself on the spot. I'm going to go Terry McLaurin as one of my favorite cash plays. And then I'm going to go Alex Smith. And then I'm going to go Antonio Gibson. I am on the Washington side here. I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't know. I'm torn even just talking about it, thinking that, you can get Dalton for 600 cheaper, then you can correlate Dalton with Cooper. I think you're going to definitely have an easier build if you have McLaurin. Maybe you go McLaurin, Gibson, Dalton, and Cooper, and that way you're covering, Alex Smith through the air. Hopefully he's going to McLaurin. Then you're getting the correlation between Dalton and Cooper. So or you fade Gibson and you just correlate receiver and quarterback. So you go McLaurin and Smith, Dalton and Cooper, or Dalton and Lamb. And then build from there. So that's kind of muddled, but that's kind of where I'm at in cash right now. I haven't finalized my builds here for this slate yet, but that's kind of where I'm looking. I'm fading the tight ends, Dalton Schultz and Logan Thomas. I'm also fading the secondary receivers that have been doing well without Steven Sims Jr. there, Cam Sims and Wright here, who have been getting some targets. My favorite value is Sims. I like Gallup. Gallup still just hasn't had that I don't know, not lived up to his potential since the loss of Dak. He had one blow up game against Seattle in that shootout, but other than that, he wasn't that great with Dak either. So kickers plus Steven Sims Jr. are my favorite values on this slate. Again, thanks for listening. This slate is not as exciting as the first one, but I think that you can definitely make some decent builds when you have sub 10K quarterbacks. Pair them up with Scary Terry and Cooper, and I think that's a great path to a nice cash lineup for our second Thanksgiving showdown game. So again, check out all of our other content at Fantasy Sports Insight. Thanks for listening, and good luck. Win some money while you're chowing down some turkey or whatever you ham, mashed potatoes. See ya.